visible?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So last time we had seen how to do an advanced filters. Then we started with subtotals, then basic recording. Then we did a recording of subtotals macros, right? Advanced filters, assigning macro to a button, and finally UDF. Any doubts or difficulties in the topic that we have covered?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Last time I had given a homework, right?
Yes, sir.
If I'm not wrong, let me just check. Yeah, how to
Pivot table.
generate a pivot table department wise, employee wise, and the salary region wise. Fine. You can just watch on the screen first if you want, and then you can, if you have not done the recording, you can do it after you have seen this recording. So I'll go back to main data. Keep my cell anywhere inside the main database. Then to record, I'll go to view, macros, record macro. Fine. I'm giving a name here, say pivot report. Then a shortcut key, say Shift and P. So my shortcut becomes Control Shift P. Now the moment I click on OK, the recording will start. So first I'll go to Insert, Pivot Table, from Table Range. And here you will notice that by default, the pivot table will be automatically inserting a sheet. In subtotals recording, we had added a sheet manually, Shift F11. But when you generate the pivot, you will see that it is adding a new sheet automatically. We are not pressing Control Shift F11, right? So click on OK. Then first I'll drag the department to the row, first name under the department, then region to the column, and we want salary on the values. Okay. Then right click, pivot table options. For empty cells, show 0. Now then I'll stop the recording. Hide this pivot table list. Go to view, macros, stop recording. Fine. Now, after this, if I delete the sheet, pivot table is going to generate error. Okay, because this particular sheet name is hard coded in the recording. So when you run the macros again, it will not find this particular sheet, and therefore it will generate error. One more thing is that when you record the macro, I told that the pivot table will automatically add a sheet. So every time you run the macro, new sheets will be added. So before you run the macro again, we need to make some changes in the code. Okay. So if you have not done this already, you can try this first. Just record a macro for generating the pivot table. Department on the row, first name under the department, region in the column, and salary in the values. Once you get a report like this, stop the recording. Done, everyone? You want me to show it once again?
Done, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, how will you go to that particular program? Alt F8, then select the macro and click on edit. So you should get some statements like this. Okay. Now here you can see that it is adding a sheet in the start itself. So every time you run the macro, the sheet will get added. Now we don't want to add a sheet every time. Okay. So you should not delete the sheet, and as well as you remove this particular statement. Sheets.add, either you can comment it or you can directly remove it. Then it is saying active workbook pivot catches. Source data is this main data, and this is the range R1 C1 to R1 C1 means row number 1, column number 1, row number 101, and column number up to 8. Okay. Then it is the destination of the pivot table is sheet 1 R3 C1. That means the third row, first column. So if you delete this particular sheet, then pivot table will not be able to find the sheet. So that is why it is generating error. Fine. Then it will do all this dragging of the fields to the rows and the columns. Now,
sir, can you explain once again the same thing, the initial one which you are telling? Yeah.
see, earlier my statement was sheets.add. That means that sheet will be added. So every time I run the macro, it is going to add a sheet. Fine. In subtotals, we had added the sheet manually. We press Shift F11. So a new sheet will be added. In that active sheet, we are pasting the data. But in this case, what is happening is it will add a sheet before. Because by default, whenever you generate a pivot table, it will be always on a new sheet. So it will add a sheet, but the pivot will be generated on a sheet called as sheet 1. So if you delete this particular sheet, that will generate error. It will add a sheet, but the pivot will be generated on this sheet 1. So what you should do is this sheet should not be deleted. Now, even if I remove this sheets.add, still it will generate error because in sheet 1, you already have a pivot, right? So we can't overwrite a pivot on an existing pivot. So that pivot should be removed first. I'll come back to that later.
So, sir, if we are generating the summary out of the main data, okay, and without removing the sheet, we create the pivot table on the same data. So there are two sheets of summaries. So okay, so without removing the first sheet, we are just applying the pivot table in the next sheet. So even though it is showing the same debug error for that, so
that means you are adding a no. You are adding a
sheet.
new
I'm not
sheet.
removing the sheet. Yeah, I'm not removing the previous sheet.
You are adding a
the new sheet. Yeah.
Correct. But when the pivot is generated, it is getting generated on sheet 1.
Okay.
But in sheet 1, you already have a pivot, right?
Correct.
So you can't have one more pivot over an existing pivot. So that will generate error.
Okay.
So what you should ideally do is the pivot should not add a sheet. So we are removed that sheets.add, and the existing pivot should be cleared first.
Okay.
That is one method. Or you put the second pivot on a row which is not overlapping the first pivot. If I say row 100, so it will generate a pivot in the 100th row.
Okay. So is it a kind of selection? Is it a kind of selection like how you have
selection?
Said?
Right.
Yeah.
But I can't come to the Visual Basic Editor every time and change the row number. So better is that we remove the previous pivot and generate the new pivot in the same area. Okay. So
but
first
sir,
I need
if we select on new sheet only, new worksheet only, the sheet will be added. If we select existing worksheet on pivot table window,
then also it will work. But even in the existing sheet, it will not override the pivot, existing pivot. So that pivot should be removed first.
Okay.
You can't have a pivot overlapping the previous pivot.
So can you please show 2 or 3 scenarios like all the things so we can just relate with the code?
I will do that. Now suppose I am not adding a sheet. Now see what happens if I run it. I'll run it step by step. I'll go back to main data because our source is our main data. Okay, F8. It will give this particular error because in sheet 1 you already have a pivot.
Okay.
Okay. So what should ideally happen is, now see if I remove this manually. Now if I generate it, it should not give me an error. I'll go back to reset it. Go back to main data. Now F8. That will generate the pivot. Because you can't have a pivot over an existing pivot. So what the macro should do is, but every time I don't want to manually go and remove the pivot. What I want is the macro should automatically remove the existing pivot and then it should generate it. Okay. So what I'll do is, first I need to go to this particular sheet where I have the pivot. The sheet name is sheet 1. Okay. We'll see how to access the sheets by using the index number as well as the name afterwards. Now this is just for your information, just for the time being, again, just keep it in mind. So how do you select that sheet? You write sheets and the name of the sheet. Sheet 1 dot select. Okay. Then to delete all the data, you write cells dot clear. This is a very dangerous command. It will remove all the data in your existing worksheet. Okay. So this will remove all the data in your existing worksheet. Now our source is in main data. Right now we are in sheet 1. So from here I need to go to the main data again. So how will I go to the main data? Again I'll write sheets and the name of the sheet. Main data dot select. Now to be on the safe side, I want to make sure that my cell is always inside the main database. So I'll say range A1 dot select, because if my cell is somewhere here in the main data, suppose my cell is somewhere here, then Excel will not understand where is your data, where is your source. So to avoid that, even that can generate error. So to avoid that, to be on the safe side, I'm making sure that the cell is always inside the main database, that is range A1. Now if I run it, F8. So this will select the sheet called as sheet 1. So it has gone to sheet 1. When I say cells dot clear, all the data will be erased. Now, do you see what is happening here? When I run the program step by step, sometimes it will jump to this functions program. Last time we had written some UDFs, right? So it will directly jump to this particular functions program. Now, this is a bug in your Visual Basic Editor. And this happens only if you are running the program step by step. See here, sometimes when you run the program step by step, it will automatically jump to that functions program. Sometimes it jumps, sometimes it will not. We'll see a solution for that also. So now it has removed the data. Now it is putting the department on the row, then names, region on the column, then values, then Now, once this is done, I can press the shortcut, that is Control Shift, I think P, and automatically pivot will be generated. So if you are record of the macro, just make these changes. In the start, remove that statement, sheets.add. Then write these statements. Once done, run it step by step. Done. Yeah, Sindhu.
Yeah, so somehow when I was running this code, I did not get that sheet 1 command automatically generated. If you will allow, can I just share my screen?
Did you generate the pivot on an existing sheet?
No, yes, I generated a pivot in existing sheet, and every time I run the command, a new sheet is generated.
Okay.
Let me just share my screen
Yeah.
once. Yeah, are you able to see?
Just a minute.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. What does this mean? Application.cut copy mode is equals to false.
That is when you press escape. Suppose you
Okay.
are selecting a data and you're copying it. So you'll get some dotted lines around the selection, right?
Okay.
And to remove the dotted lines, you press escape. So when you press escape, this particular statement will be generated. Application got dot cut copy mode equal to false. But nowhere here can you see the statement sheets.add. Can you run it step by step? Just display.
Okay, yes. For me also, yeah.
You place the place this Excel and the Visual Basic editors side by side, and then you run it.
Okay.
I think you won't be able to see the screen, right? Only the.
Because when you share the screen, select screen instead of window. When you share it, then place the Visual Basic editor and
See here, if I just a new sheet is generated every time.
Can you run it step by step? Place the Visual Basic editor and the Excel sheet side by side. Press that Windows key and right arrow. Windows key and right arrow. We'll place the Visual Basic editor on the right hand side.
Okay.
Now you run it step by step.
F8.
F8. Right.
Here it shows an error.
Okay, click on debug. Okay, you do one thing. Click on the reset. Click on reset. Select the main data sheet. Now you run it step by step. F8. Wait, can you expand it? Can you expand the Visual Basic Editor window? Create pivot table destination. Table name equal to pivot table. It is automatically adding a sheet because you can see active sheet dot cells 31 dot select.
So why is it different when you are recording? It is creating sheet 1, and for me it is directly coming as active sheet.
Did you select existing worksheet?
No.
Or did you select a existing sheet?
New worksheet.
You selected new worksheet, right?
Right.
Okay, you click on reset and close the Visual Basic Editor. Go back to the main data. Keep a cell anywhere inside. I want you to record a macro once again, right? So just click on macro recording. Any name. See, 1 minute. I got it. You are recording a macro on a personal macro workbook. Okay.
No, I selected this workbook only.
अच्छा, okay. ठीक है. हाँ. Give a shortcut. Okay. Then click on insert. No. Wait. You need to go to insert pivot table. Only then you will get the dialog box where it is going to generate it on a new sheet. If you press Alt DP. Okay,
after
fine.
this, you get that option.
Okay.
Since now it's already have a file. Yeah.
New worksheet. Yeah, fine. Department. Stop the recording. You can stop the
creating. Yeah, I stopped it. Now when I run the shortcut, it's creating new sheet every time.
Now can you go back to the code? Because I think when you are pressing Alt DP, it is generating a separate code for that.
Okay.
Yeah, it is taking active sheet. Yeah. So the code is depending on the method you do, it is selecting the code is getting different. So instead of that, can you go to just do a small step?
Insert.
Just go to insert and try doing it and just stop the recording. No need to drag the fields. We just need to know what is the code that is getting generated. Record macro. Go to insert pivot table from table range, right? Okay.
I just stop it here, right?
Yeah, stop. Yeah. Now can you go back to the code?
Yeah. Okay. Now it's generating sheet numbers.
Right.
Okay. Understood.
Abhishek, what about you?
Yes, sir. Shall I share, sir?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Did you also do Alt DP and then select that existing sheet, new sheet?
So I'll show the procedure once.
Okay, fine.
So is it visible for you, sir?
Not yet. Now it is visible, yeah.
Yes. So this is the one 11. That is okay.
Here you are renamed the report as summary, right?
Yes.
So
yes,
even in your code, it should be summary, huh? Else it will give error.
Okay.
You have already recorded the
So
pivot.
it is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll just do it once again. Okay.
Insert pivot table. So if you want the layout table in a table format, click inside the pivot table. Click inside the pivot table.
Insert. Okay.
Go to design.
This one?
No, click inside the pivot table. Inside the pivot. Somewhere inside the pivot.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. Go to design. On the top you have analyze and design. Go to design.
Yes.
In design, report layout on the left hand side. Report layout. Left.
Yes, sir.
वहाँ पे you select tabular format. Show in tabular form. So you'll get a table format.
Okay.
Now you can stop the recording.
It was already stopped, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. Okay, got it, sir. I'll do it next time. Yeah.
So are you getting an error here?
I'll just do once.
Now you will get
Yes.
error because we are adding a sheet every time.
Yes.
So you go to your code.
Sheet 8 is 1.
Are you in Visual Basic Editor?
Yes, sir.
I can't see your screen because I think you must have selected
Okay.
window instead of screen. Remove that sheets.add.
Okay.
You don't want to add a sheet every time. And your source is in sheet 1, right?
Sheet
So
1, yes.
sheet 1 dot select. Sheets, sheet 1, sheets, sheet 1. Sheets. Open bracket. No. Sheets. Just sheets.
Okay, just sheets. Okay.
Double it. Sheets. Open bracket in double quotes. Sheet 1 dot select, because in your case your sheet is called as your main source is sheet 1. So sheet 1 है ना, sheet 1.
Yes, sir.
sheet 1 quotes complete. Close the bracket dot select. जैसे हम लोग range A1 dot select लिखते हैं, ऐसे ही sheet 1 को लिखना है. sheet 1 को लिखना है. नहीं. sheet 1 close the quotes. Close the bracket. Sheet 1 close the bracket.
Close the bracket. Okay.
डॉट सेलेक्ट, और यहाँ का ये रिमूव कर दो. एंड में जो सेलेक्ट का वहां पे ब्रैकेट है, करेक्ट, परफेक्ट. नाउ एंटर. Wait, your where is your pivot generated? Can you go back to the? No. Can you go back? Your is sheet 8 है क्या?
Yes, sir. Sheet 8 on sheet 8.
हाँ. So that should be sheet 8 dot select. First we need to remove that previous pivot table.
Okay.
So sheet 8 करके लिख दो वहाँ पे.
यहाँ पे sheet 8 में.
हाँ 8 dot select. Then cells dot clear. Enter.
Cells dot clear.
Okay.
Enter.
Then once you clear the pivot table from sheet 8, you need to come back to sheet 1 again, right? So sheet 1 dot select. Correct. Sheets.
Sheet
1. नहीं जैसे आपने ऊपर लिखा है ना sheet 8 इंश्योर दैट इट विल बी नहीं आपका इसमें sheet 1 है ना आपका जो सोर्स है that is sheet 1, right? Can you go back to that Excel sheet?
Yes. I don't know why it is not coming in this thing. I'm selecting the screen only. Yes.
यहाँ पे आपके इसमें sheet 1 है ना that हाँ sheet 1.
Yes sir.
Sheet
1 is the main data.
Correct, main data.
Yes, sir. And this
so you can if you want.
This one is a debug sheet. Yeah.
Correct. No, go back to the code. So sheet 1 dot select sheets. No. See in the start you have written sheet 8, right?
Yes sir.
यहाँ पे नीचे आपने sheet 1 dot select करके लिखा है sheet 1 dot select. Sheets open bracket in quotes sheet 1 dot select. मेरे ख्याल से कंफ्यूजन इसलिए हो रहा है क्योंकि आपका जो मेन डेटा है ना उसको भी आपने शीट करके नाम दिया है ना इसलिए वो कंफ्यूजन हो रहा है शायद.
ओके
डॉट सेलेक्ट क्लोज द ब्रैकेट डॉट सेलेक्ट. ठीक है. नाउ यू आर गोइंग टू एक्टिव वर्कबुक. क्लोज डेटा इज दिस फाइन. नाउ इट शुड वर्क. नाउ यू जस्ट क्लिक ऑन रीसेट एंड यू रन इट स्टेप बाय स्टेप.
करेक्ट. दिस वन रीसेट.
हाँ रीसेट करेक्ट. नाउ यू रन इट स्टेप बाय स्टेप. और आपका सेल्स का स्पेलिंग रॉन्ग है. CELLS.
ओके सॉरी.
हाँ नाउ F8. हो गया.
Yes sir. I'll stop. Yes sir.
Is it clear for everyone? Others? What about others? Working fine?
Yes, fine.
Ronit, Saket, yeah.
Yes.
Komal,
Fine.
Rekha.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Huh. Now you must have seen that when I am running this program step by step, it is automatically jumping to the functions that you have written. Right. So this is a bug in your Visual Basic Editor. This happens only when you run your program step by step. When you directly run it, it won't jump. So what we can do is temporarily we can comment all the statements. Now how will you comment it? Suppose I want to comment this particular statement, function vote. I just go to the beginning of the statement and give a single quote. But there are many statements here. If you want to comment all the statements, going to the beginning of each statement and giving a single quote can be very time consuming. So we'll see a easier method. Just check whether on your screen, that is Visual Basic Editor, do you have a toolbar like this? This is called as a edit toolbar. Just check whether you have this edit toolbar. If you don't have it, so you have two toolbars. One is the standard toolbar. One is the standard toolbar. This is your standard toolbar. Okay, where you can see file, edit, view, insert. Likewise, you also have one more toolbar called as the edit toolbar. Now, if you're not seeing that in a Visual Basic Editor, what you do is you click on View, Toolbars, and select Edit. Okay, View, Toolbars, Edit. So you'll get a toolbar like this. You can place it anywhere. Just drag it and place it on the top. Now, I want to comment all the statements. So what I'll do is I'll come to this particular module, that is UDF, double click. So all the functions are displayed. Then I'll press Control A. Control A will select all the statements. Once you select all the statements, in the edit toolbar, you can see there is a hand window. Okay. Next to that, you can see there is an option called as comment block. The moment I click on comment block, all the selected statements will be automatically commented. Now after this, the program will no longer jump to these functions. So this temporarily we are blocking it. If you want to unblock it, again you press Control A. Next to that block comment, you have a unblock comment. If you click on that, all the statements will be unblocked, and then the function will again run. Okay, it will not give any error. So temporarily you just block it. Control A and click on that comment block. Fine. So now, even if I run it step by step, it will not jump to those functions again. F8.
Sir, can you show me just where it is comment block?
When you're in the Visual Basic Editor, click on View.
No,
Toolbars.
This one I got edit
okay.
within edit.
In edit, can you see there is a hand symbol?
Okay.
Hand symbol के बाजू में comment block करके.
ठीक है. मैंने Control A comment block, then everything will be with
Correct.
this single
Commented.
quoted, and again
Correct.
comment block. If I click, then it will remove. Okay.
No, again you need to click on. If you want to remove the comments, you need to click on uncomment block. Comment block के बाजू में और एक है uncomment block करके. उस पे click करना. If you want to remove it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this was regarding the homework.
Sir, one question I have related to this. Like generally, pivot table, you have advised us to write this code sales.clear to erase all the data from sheets, right?
Correct. Correct.
Is this valid for pivot table only, or if there is
any data, everything will be erased. Yes.
Okay, so if I write this code that sales.clear for any particular sheet, it will erase all the data from
all the data. Correct. That is why I said it is a very dangerous command.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Fine. So last time we had seen some basic range statements. No, we did not see that. We saw UDF, right? Okay. So we'll start with today's topics. So first is range statements. From now on, we'll be doing the coding part. Okay. The recording part is over. We'll be doing the coding part today. What my macro should do is it should select the cell A1. Okay. Then it should automatically select the cells from A to 10. Likewise, it should select different ranges, that is from A to 10, as well as let us say D15 to D20, something like that. We will see how to write the code for that. D15 to D20. Okay. So you can insert a blank sheet first. Then you go to Visual Basic Editor. Insert a blank sheet. Go to Visual Basic Editor. Now we are going to insert a new module. So click on Insert Module. You'll get something called as Module 2 or Module 3. We can also rename it. So what we'll do is we'll go to the Properties window. Instead of Module 2, you can give any name. I'm giving the name Basic Statements. Basic underscore statements, rather than name on the module. Okay. And the subroutine name will be sub range underscore statements. Subroutines ideally don't take any arguments. So we are writing open and close bracket. Now suppose I want to select the cell A1. I'll write range in quotes A1 dot select. What does this statement do? It will simply select the cell A1. Okay. Suppose I want to select a range. We write A1 to A10 dot select. First, we'll be learning these basic statements, how to select a cell, how to select a range of cells. And using these statements, we are going to write a small program. Fine. Now, suppose I want to select ranges at two different locations, like A1 to A10, then D15 to D20. So normally what we do is we press the control, right? Once you select A1 to A10, you press control, then say D15 to D20, right? You press the control key. The same thing, if I want to do it programmatically, I'll write range A1 to A10, comma, D15 to D20 dot select. So this is like pressing your control. Suppose I want to select the cell A10. I can write range A10 dot select. Now, when you select a cell, that is called as the active cell. For example, even if I select a range, suppose I select a range like this, then the first cell, that is E2, that is the active cell. The current cell will be always the active cell. So if I select A10, A10 is called as the active cell. Okay. Suppose I want to put any value in the active cell, I can write active cell dot value equals whatever value you want to write. Okay, just write down these statements first, then you run it step by step. Whenever you write a program, there will be always errors. Okay, either you will be writing the program or you will be removing the errors. The process of finding the errors and removing it is called as debug. Okay, debug means finding the errors and removing it. Now, how will you find the errors? Before you run the program, you need to know whether your program is error free or not. So what you can do is you can run the program step by step. Now, how will you run the program step by step? You press the function key F8, right? So if you want, you just watch on the screen. I want to make sure the program is error free. So before I run the program directly, I need to run the program step by step. So keep your cursor anywhere inside the subroutine, and to run it step by step, you press the function key F8. The moment I press F8, you will see that the name of the program is getting highlighted. Now, whichever statement is getting highlighted, that is getting processed. It is not getting executed. It will get executed only when you move to the next statement. And how will you move to the next statement? Again, you press F8. Now, when I press F8, you will see that range A1.select that is getting processed. When will it get executed? When I press F8 again. Now, just watch here. In my Excel sheet, my cell is in D10. So when I press F8 again, it has gone to the cell A1. So the previous statement of this highlight will be always executed. Okay. When I press F8 again, now you'll see that it has selected the range A1 to A10. Again F8, it has selected the range from A1 to A10 as well as D15 to D20. Again F8, range A10.select. So that is the active cell. If I want to put any value inside that, again you write press F8 and the value will be inserted. Now suppose I make a mistake here, right? I don't put a double quote here. No, so it will give an error. Whenever you have any errors in the syntax, it will be displayed in a red color. Suppose I don't write select here. Now, if I run F8, it will give. So when you write press F8, it is going to give a error like this. So this way you can find whether your program has any errors or not. When you run it step by step, if it is not generating any error, that means your program is error free and you can run it directly. Now, how will I run it directly? Suppose I have written the program and the program is error free, then I'm closing the Visual Basic Editor. Now, I have not assigned any shortcut for this macro that I have written, nor have I assigned it to a button. Then how will I run it? I have written a program. It is error free. I close the Visual Basic Editor. Now, how will I run the program? How will you run any macro if you don't know the shortcut key of the button? What you do is you press Alt F8. What will Alt F8 do? It will display the macro list window. This is same as going to view macros, view macros. Okay. The shortcut is Alt F8. When I press Alt F8, you'll see that all the macros that has been recorded or written will be displayed in this particular list. So select the macro which you want to run and click on run. Now the moment I click on run, you will see all the statements are automatically run. So even if you forget the shortcut, you can still run it by going to macro list window and then select the macro and then click on run. Running fine for everyone. I'll copy and paste it in the chat if you want. Yes, Sujata.
Sir, once I get into that view code itself, that subroutine sub and end sub should automatically come. It should
Correct.
come.
It should come. It should come.
For
Right.
me, it is not coming. If it is not
Just
coming,
check.
what?
Just check whether you have a space or any other character in between.
Shall I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
The name should not contain any function name. It should not begin with a numerical value. It should not have a space. And there should be an open and close bracket after you write the subroutine name.
Once, okay.
Ah.
Let me share my screen.
Click on sharing and then click on screen. Select screen.
It should be desktop, right? Desktop I should share.
No. You
Window.
have option called a screen, right? Screen.
Oh, screen.
No. See, when you click on that share option,
okay,
you get screen and window option.
Okay, screen.
Click on screen. Click on screen.
Okay. Is it visible, sir?
It is visible.
Okay.
You need to write sub first. SUB. SUB space. Wait, space. Okay, click on OK. No. I think you already have a map. Okay. Space. Give a name. Click on OK. Click on OK. Don't type enter. Give a space. Then give a name. Range underscore statement. Statements anything. Open and close bracket. Enter. Fine. I think you did not give a name for the subroutine. Inside, correct. So this will be A1 to A10, comma. Don't give a code for that D15. Remove that code. D15, D20 dot select, correct. Range A10 dot select. Yeah, now it should correct.
So
now it should go.
statement color statement spelling is incorrect, sir.
No, that is okay because the name can be anything. It won't make any difference. Now you run it.
Yeah.
You can directly run it because I don't think there is any errors here. You can directly run. Click on Now go back to the Excel sheet. Check whether in the A10 cell it is showing great. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Now. Hello.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome. Now the active cell is a current cell. Whichever cell you select, that is the active cell. Now, what I want to do is, I want to move the cell from A10 to A11. Okay. I want to move the cell from A10 to A11. So for moving the cell, we'll use a statement called as offset. Offset statement is always used to move the cell. In the offset statement, always first the row number will come, then the column number. So if I want to move the cell one row down, okay, from A10 to A11, the offset statement will be offset 1, 0. Okay, 1, 0 dot select, because when you're moving the cell from A10 to A11, the row number is changing, row is changing, but the column remains same. Fine. So I'll go to Visual Basic Editor. I'll write active cell dot offset. 1, 0 dot select. So once this program is run, it will move from A10 to A11. Fine. Now suppose I want to move the cell from A11 to B11. What will be the offset statement?
0, 1.
0, 1. Correct. So active cell dot offset. If I write 0, 1, that means in the same row, it will move to the next column. So after this statement is executed, my active cell will be B11. Now suppose I want to put any value in that, I can again write active cell dot value equals, say, always your program will follow the top to down approach. Okay. Now when I run it, this much is clear, everyone?
Sir, can you just explain this, the last one, Chennai, Mumbai, Pune?
That is, I just put a value in that particular cell. Like in A10, we have put Excel4all. In B11, I am putting this particular value. That's all.
So it
just
will
some
run
value.
First 1, 0, then 0, 1, and then it will pull the value. So it's shifting to
Correct.
B basically.
Correct. B11. Correct.
Okay. So offset is basically like cut function in Excel, right?
No. It is moving the cell. It will move the cell from a particular position to the next position. Because here we are not cutting any value here. We are just putting some value. Cutting means suppose I cut Excel4all from here, and then if I go here and paste it, this is cut. We are not putting any. We are putting a new value. We are not cutting and copying or cutting and pasting any existing value. Offset is mainly used to give a movement to the cell. That's all. Getting? Hello?
Start means beginning of the offset is like it's the active cell. Am I right?
Correct. Now suppose this is my active cell. Suppose this is my active cell. Now here if I write active cell dot offset 0, 1 dot select, it will move from D3 to E3.
E3. Correct.
If I say active cell dot offset 1, 0, it will move from D3 to D4. So wherever your cell is present, the offset always will move it to that many rows and columns. If I write active cell offset 1, 1, it will move from D3 to E4. Okay, 1, 1 means go down one row and go to the right hand side, one column.
And from
okay,
D3,
now
if I need to shift to suppose previous cell like
correct,
A.
correct. And that is what I am coming to.
Minus.
See, correct, perfect. See, when the row number is positive, the cell will always move down. If the row number is negative, it will move to the upper side. So if I write active cell dot offset, if I write -1, 0 dot select, from D3, it will move to D2, sorry. Likewise, If I give a positive number for the column, it will move to the right hand side. But if I give a negative number to the column, it will move to the left hand side. But suppose my cell is in A3, and if I give active cell offset 0, -1, it will generate error because from A3, it can't go to the left hand side because A is the first column. It can't go to the left hand side. So that is going to give error. Likewise, if my cell is in D1, and if I give active cell dot offset -1, 0, it can't go up because it is already on the first row. So that is also going to give a error. So you should be very careful when you're using this offset statement. You should make sure that the direction is correct. Okay. Now using these statements, what we'll do is we'll write a small program. We'll write a program called as data entry. What the data entry program should do is it should print the headers first, name, post, department, salary. And it should get the name, post, department, salary from the user. What are the user enters that should be saved in the Excel sheet? Okay. The objective is clear, everyone. First, the macro should print the headers. Once the headers are printed, it should take the values from the user, and whatever values are taken from the user, that should be saved in the Excel sheet. Okay. So let us write a program for this. You can continue in the same module. Just keep your cursor after end sub and give the new program name. We'll call it as data underscore entries. The moment you press enter, automatically that divider line will come. So that means this is the start of a new program. Your module can have any number of subroutines. There is no limitation. But always, when you're starting a new topic or a new chapter or a new task, it is better to write it in a new module. Because let us say I'm writing all the programs in the same module. Let us say I have some 50 or 60 modules, so 50 or 60 subroutines in the same module. Now, if I want to make any changes in the 50th subroutine, I might have to scroll to the entire modules first, 49 subroutines first, then come to the 50th one and do the changes. So that can be very time consuming. So instead of that, if you are going to create a new task, you can always do it in a new module. That is just to compartmentalize your programs. Okay. Now, I want the header on the first row. So first I need to go to the first cell. So I'll write range A1 dot select. So this will take my cell to the first cell. So that is the active cell. If I want to put any value in the active cell, I'll write active cell dot value equals name. Okay. Now I want to type post in B1. So how will I move from A1 to B1?
Offset.
Correct. Active cell dot offset 0, 1, right? So when I say 0, 1, it is going to move the cell from A1. It will print name here. Then when I say active cell dot offset 0, 1 dot select, it will go to B1. Then again, I need to write active cell dot value equal to post. Then again move to C1 using offset. So here it will be DPT, then salary. So when I have returned salary, what is my cell position? It is D1. But when I get the values from the user, I want the name to be printed here. Post to be printed here. So how will I come from D1 to A2? from D1 to A2.
The same offset thing we have to use.
Correct.
But it
Offset.
minus. Yeah, minus.
Correct. We need to write minus for the column. So this will be active cell offset
minus 3.
1 comma minus 3. Correct.
1 comma minus 3.
Because I need to go one row down, then come 3 columns. So writing the minus sign can be very confusing, as well as I told you, suppose by mistake, suppose your cell is in A2, and if you write minus for the column, it don't give an error. So instead of writing active cell, so one method is you can write active cell dot offset 0, 1 dot select. Then you can write active cell dot value equals post. Okay, this is perfectly right. This is one method. So when you write the statement dot select, it will physically move the cell from A1 to B1, then from B1 to C1, C1 to D1. So instead of writing active cell offset, what I'll write here is I'll write active cell dot offset 0, 1 dot value equals post. So what this particular statement will do is, instead of moving the cell physically, it will come to B1, write post here, and again go back to the original cell, that is A1.
Okay.
The moment you say dot value, it will just put the value here and come back. Now if I want the department here, what will be my statement? Instead of 0, 1.
0, 2.
Correct.
0.
Perfect. Very good. It will be 0, 2 because my original position is still A1. So from A1, if I want to come to C1, it will be 0, 1, 0, 2. So here I can write department. So this will put the department here and again come back to A1. So after I write salary, my original position is still A1. So if I want to come to A2, I just need to do offset and come one row down. Okay. I'll copy this. We can also copy and paste it. Control C, Control V, and just change it to, now it will be 3. And this will be salary. So this is the statement for printing the headers. Okay. Once the headers have been printed, we need to get the values from the user. For getting the values from the user, we have a statement called as input box. Okay. Now, before you save it in the Excel sheet, we need to store it temporarily. Now, for storing it temporarily, we need something called as variables. Now the data, just understand the concept first. Data can be classified into two types. There is something called as constants, and then you have variables. Constants are those values which remain same throughout the program. For example, if I say,
so you there?
Hello? Am I not audible?
Yes, you are.
Hello? Okay,
Yes,
okay,
you-
fine.
Anybody there?
Yeah, Abhishek. Abhishek, you are not able to hear me?
Anybody can hear?
Yeah. I think. Abhishek, you are audible. Hello. I think he got disconnected. We'll just wait 2 minutes. Let him reconnect again. I think we'll continue. Now data, it can be classified into two types, constants and variables. Constant means the value of that particular thing or whatever you are defining, it will remain same throughout the program. For example, if I define a equal to 10, and if I use this value a anywhere in the program, always it will have the value 10. It will not change. Like the speed of light, that is a constant. Okay. Likewise, the distance between the sun and the earth, that is going to remain constant. It is not going to change. Yeah, Abhishek, you are able to hear?
Yes.
Okay, fine. I think you got disconnected, right?
Yes.
Okay. So constants values will be same throughout the program. But variables, they'll have different values. Every time you run the program, the value of the variable will be different. For example,
sir, I didn't know the scenario. I was just logged out. So please tell me once again. The
value of the variables will be different whenever the program is run every time. For example, the name of the employee, it can change. The salary of the employee, it can change. The department can change, right? So that we need to define it as a variable. There are many types of variables. We have character variables. Then you have numerical variables. We have date variables. Then we have logical variables. Logical variables means it will take only two values, either yes or no, true or false. For example, suppose I want to define a variable for the marital status. So either the person is married or unmarried. Okay. So we can have a logical variable for that. Now, in other languages like C language or Java or Python, we need to define a variable before we use it. If I don't define a variable in a C language, and if I'm going to use that variable in the program is going to generate an error. Okay, variable not defined, something like that. But in Visual Basic, you don't have to define a variable. If you don't define a variable, Visual Basic will automatically create a variable of the type variant. Variant can store any type of value. It can store characters, it can store numbers, it can store date, it can store logical. So anything can be stored in a variable. So if you don't define it, Visual Basic will automatically create a variable called as variant, and the values that you are giving will be stored inside that. Suppose you want to define a variable. You can use the statement dim. Suppose I write dim emp name as string. So what does this statement do? It will define a variable called as emp name, and it will take the type characters. Likewise, I can also define emp salary as long. So long statement is used to define a numerical variable. Okay. Now, even if I don't write these statements, Visual Basic will not generate any error. So what Visual Basic will do is it will automatically create a variable called as EMP name, which will have the type variant. Variant means it can store any value. Likewise, it will automatically define a variable called as EMP salary, which will be always also variant. So if you don't define it, it is going to store that variable as a variant. Now, what I'll do is I'll define one variable with the statement dim EMP name as string. So what this will do is it will define a variable called as EMP name, which will take the values only characters. Likewise, I'll define one more EMP salary as long. I'm not going to define post and department. Still, it will not generate any error. Yeah. And here I will write. Now these variable names, it can be anything. You don't have to write EMP salary, EMP name. I can also write it as LMN as long. It won't make any difference. But whenever you are defining any variable, always give meaningful names, because today the logic is very fresh in your mind. You know that LMN means salary of the employee. But suppose you come back to the same program after say 6 months or 1 year, you may not remember why this LMN was defined. Okay. Also, if some other person is reading your program, he will not understand why this element was defined. So always give meaningful names so you can instantly recollect why this was defined. Now to get the value from the user, we'll use a statement called as input box. So here I will write EMP name equals input box. And here I will write enter the name. Now whatever the name is entered by the user, that will be stored temporarily in this variable called as EMP name. Okay, I'll just run it and show you how the input box looks. So this is your input box. Enter the name. Now suppose I enter Anand. And if I click on OK, that value is getting stored in this variable called as EMP name. So we are temporarily storing that particular value. Now you'll also notice that since I had selected this particular sheet, it has printed the header here. Okay, name, post, department, salary. Now, how will you get the post? I'm going to put it in one more variable. EMP post equals. I can directly copy and paste it. No need to write the same statement again and again. Here it will be enter the post. Now, I have not defined a variable called as EMP post. Okay, even then, it should not generate any error. Okay, I'll run it step by step. Just watch on the screen. I'll remove this first. F8. Now it has printed name. So when I say active select or offset 0,1 dot value equal to post, you see that it has printed post, but the original position is still A1. Okay, the cell has not moved. Again F8. That has printed the header. Now when I say EMP name equal to input box, enter the name, it will ask for the name. I'm giving the name as Anand. Then it is directly saying enter the post. So you see that it has not given any error here. Okay.
So is this a security kind of check?
Security kind of, I didn't get that.
It is a security check to use the Excel sheet. Like
no. We are just getting the name from the user, and we are going to save it in the Excel sheet. A simple data entry program. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So for department, EMP, DPT, I'll copy and paste it. So EMP, DPT equals input box, enter the department. Then EMP. Now for EMP salary, we have defined it as long. EMP salary equal to input box, enter the salary.
So DIM stands for
dimension. Dim means dimension. That is a statement to define the variables. You can also give a comment like this. So comments will always help us in understanding the logic of a program. So for example, here I can write the comment as to print the headers. Now it won't make any difference to the program. Okay, but as I told you earlier, if you come back to the same program after say 6 months or 1 year, to understand the logic, you can put some comments like this. They're just for our understanding. To the program, it won't make any difference. Any statement that is commented will not be processed by your program, by your Visual Basic.
Answer for the function we have created yesterday, like we are doing a function creation. So for all the function, for example, if we go to Excel and use is equals to sum, so it gives the description of the sum.
Correct.
But for example, I created yesterday a function called subtract, add underscore subtract, but it was not giving the information of that. Yeah,
correct, because it is a user defined function. It is a function that we have created. So for that, we will not get the list. For customized
we can't do that.
No, you can't do that.
Okay.
Once you have written this, just run the program step by step. Once you run it step by step, when you come to end sub, don't press F8 again. Your selection should be in end sub. Okay. F8. Now, once you come to F8, once you press F8 and come to this end sub, Don't press F8 again. After this, if I keep my cell on that variable, you will see the value inside that. So when I keep my cell on that EMP name, you can see the value Anand. If I keep it on EMP post, it is showing the post as trainer. Then training is the department and the salary is 25,000. So these are the values that is stored inside the variable. Okay.
And sir, instead of EMP, if we write just name also, it will work.
Huh.
Okay.
EMP name will store the actual employee name. This is just a variable. Every time your program runs, it will have different values.
Got it, sir. Yes.
Just run it, everyone.
So can you please copy it in the chat?
I will do that. Run it step by step. Enter some values and see whether the values are coming inside the variables. Working fine, everyone?
I'll share my screen, sir.
You are getting any errors?
Yes, yes.
Huh.
This is the thing. Are you able to see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
0, 1, 0, 1. See, everywhere you have written 0, 2. It should be 0, 3. 0, 1 will be post, 0, 2 will be department, and 0, 3 will be salary. I think go back to the code. Okay, enter. See, you are written active cell dot offset 0, 2 equal to department. Again, 0, 2 equal to salary. That should be 0, 3. Correct. Then EMP post F8. See, this is what I said. When you run the program step by step, sometimes it will jump to that functions. So to prevent that, you comment it. Click on OK.
Here.
Press. No, next
Yeah.
to that. Next to that.
Next. Okay.
Comment block. First you press Control A. OK. Click on reset. OK.
Control A.
Control A, then click on that comment block. Yes. OK. Now you go back to that. F8, F8, F8. Enter the name. F8 again. Post. F8. Okay. No, don't press F8 again. Now you keep your cursor on that EMP name. Cursor, your cursor on that EMP name.
On that again F8.
No,
I didn't
don't
keep
press
it there.
F8. Can you see the value inside that? When you keep your cursor on that EMP name, now you can see. So salary what you entered was 10,000. Department is DES. Okay.
Okay.
So it is getting stored inside the variable.
Yes.
Now it is temporarily getting stored in the variable. Now we need to put it in the Excel sheet, right? Now if you close the Excel sheet, then all these values that you entered will be lost because it is stored temporarily in the RAM memory. Now see here, everyone. This is working fine. Yeah, this is working fine, everyone. Okay. Now see here. Now see here. Suppose my cell in the main data sheet, suppose my cell is in A1. Now suppose I want to add a new record at the end of the database. How will I do that? I want to add a record here.
So you have to create a table.
No, why table? Suppose my cell is in A1, and if I want to add a new record in the last end of the database, what is the method? I'll press Control down arrow, then come one row down. Right?
Yes.
If I want to go to the end, I'll press Control down arrow, then come one row down. Correct? And here I can enter a new record. Fine. This is one method. Or can I also go to the end of the sheet, then come up, then come one row down if I want to add a new record?
Yes.
Even that is possible, right? Now, the second method of going to the end and coming up is safer because if your database has a blank record, a blank row, suppose something like this. Now, if I press Control down arrow, will it take me to the end of the database or to the blank cell, the row above the blank cell?
Row above the blank cell.
Row above the blank cell. So there can be blank rows in your database. So it is always safe to go to the end, then come up, then come one row down. Okay. Now, how will I go to the end? Suppose I want to go to the row A50. How will I go to the cell A50 using your program? Range A50 dot select.
Okay.
See, if I want to go to the cell A10, I am writing range A10 dot select. So if I want to go to the 50th cell of A column, I can write range A50 dot select. But suppose I want to go to the last row. How will I go to the last row? Okay, how many rows do you have? 10,48,576, right?
Yes.
So if I want to go to the last row, I need to write range A 10,48,576 dot select. Now you don't have to remember this. Suppose you are sure that your data is not going, say, above 5,000. You can also write A 5,000 dot select. Okay, even that will work. Now when I write the statement range A 10,48,576 dot select, what Excel will do is it will come here. Okay, to 10,48,576. Now from here, I need to move up. Suppose you are in this particular cell. From here, I can move only two directions. Either I can go to the right or I can go up. Okay, I can't go down because this is the last cell. I can go to the left hand side because this is the first column. To move the cell in any direction, we have a statement called as end. So if I write active cell dot end. Okay, that means you can move the cell in any of these 4 directions. If I write it like this, active cell dot end. So what are the 4 directions? Either it can go down, or it can go up, or it can go to the left, or it can go to the right. Now in this case, I want to go up, right? So I'll write Excel up dot select. So this is similar to pressing Control up arrow. Okay. So once I've gone to 8, 10 lakh, 48, 576, that is the active cell. So here I can write active cell dot end. Using the end statement, you can move the cell in any direction. So end Excel up. We need to go up. So it will be Excel up dot select. You don't have to remember this Excel up, Excel down. The moment I open the bracket, after end, if I open the bracket, you will get the options like this. Excel down, Excel to left, Excel to right. So Excel up dot select. So when I write active cell dot and Excel up dot select, it will move to this particular last row. Now from here, how will I come to the next row? Active cell offset. Active cell dot offset. I want to move 1 row down. So 1, 0 dot select. So in our case, I'll run it step by step. Then we'll see how the cell moves. My sheet is called as EMP info. F8. Now see that it has come to this particular position because it had gone down, then come up, then come around row down. So this is my active cell. Now, suppose I have already some values here. Now what should happen is it should come to this particular cell, right? So again F8. You'll see it has come here.
Sir, one question.
Huh.
Suppose active cell dot end Excel up dot select, right? So this command is basically bringing cursor to the last blank row.
Correct.
Right? Then why we
last non-blank row, not last blank row.
Okay,
last non-blank row. Because if I go down, see here, I go down and I come up, it is coming to this particular cell, that is 7th row.
Okay. And then what is this command doing? Active cell offset.
From here, I need to come 1 row down. Okay. Because if my cell is here, and if I write any value here, it is going to override this particular value.
Got it.
So after I come to the last row, I need to come 1 row down. So what you are doing here is we are writing this active cell. This will take me to the last non-blank cell, and then I am coming 1 row down. Okay. Suppose I don't have any data. So that will keep my cell in A2. So A2 is the active cell. Now how will you put the value in the active cell? Now we have come to that particular cell. Now we need to save the file, save the values in the Excel sheet. So how will you save it? You write active cell dot value. Okay. So value will be what? First, I want the name. So you write EMP name. If you put the variable without any quotes, it will print the value that is inside. Suppose I give a quote like this. This will do what? It will print EMP name instead of the value that is inside that. Like we have seen, active cell dot value equal to name. So name I have put it in quotes. So whatever you put it in quotes, that will be displayed as it is. So here we don't want EMP name. What we want is the value inside that. So don't put the quotes for variables. Okay. So in the active cell, it will print name. Now where should the post come?
Offset next.
Next to the value of the EMP name, right? So don't you need to type it. You just copy it from here because we have already written active cell offset here. Control C and then paste it here. Only thing you need to do is instead of post, it will be EMP post, the variable name. Okay. So most of the times when you're writing a program, this will be the often used statements. So you can just copy and paste it. Once the logic is clear, you just need to convert that into programming statements. This will be EMP cell. I'll copy and paste it in the chat. Once I've done it, just run it step by step. Working fine.
I am getting runtime error.
Where is the in which statement?
Here.
Active cell statement spelling is wrong. Active cell dot and Excel dot select. Now it should work. But in your case, you have that great return there, right? That is why it is not going to the end. 10,48,576. And when you say end Excel up, it is coming to that A10 cell because you have a value there.
Okay, I'll delete it.
You delete it.
I'll delete it. I'll come from there again.
Range 10 lakh 48, fine. That has gone up. Come one row down, fine. EMP name, EMP name.
Again, okay.
Active cell, that again you have two C's there, correct. F8. Yeah, now see, 1 minute. Now it should work. Just check. Yeah, fine. Now see here, everyone. Now here we have only say, let us say 24 or 30 statements. So when you press F8, the program will always run from the beginning. Okay. Now let us say you know that till this, from up to this particular statement, the program is error free. Okay. The error is getting generated somewhere here after this particular statement. So what you can do is you can set the program to run in a step-by-step mode from here. So for that, what you do is just go to the left hand side and just click with the mouse once like this. So once you click it like this, you'll get this particular statement is getting shaded in a red color. Now, if I run it, what will happen is it will directly run up to this particular statement. But from here, which I have marked in a red color, from here, you can run it step by step. So you don't have to run the same program again from the beginning. Especially when you're writing a program that has some, let us say 500 lines or 1000 lines, and you know that some error is coming from the, let us say if you have written a program for 1000 lines, you know that some error is coming in the 800th line. So what you do is you just go to one line above that or two lines above that and select it like this. Now when you run it, automatically come and stop here in this particular statement, range 8 and lakh 48 576. Then I can run it step by step. Okay, I'll just show it on the screen. I have marked it in this particular statement, so it should run step by step from here. Now, when I click on run, it is asking for the name, post, department, salary. And you'll see that it has come and stopped in this particular statement which I have marked. Now from here, I can run it step by step. Okay. And to remove this selection, again, click on the same spot, same line, the selection will be removed. Working fine, everyone?
Yes, for me.
What about others? Sujata, Saket?
Yeah, I'm checking.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
Working,
I told
sir.
yes for me.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Abhishek, working fine?
Yes, sir, working for me.
Now we have written the program. It is working fine without any error. I have closed it. I closed the Visual Basic Editor. Now how will I run it? Directly. Alt F8, right? Alt F8. Then you select data entries and click on run. That is the one method. Now suppose I want to give a shortcut for this. After I have written the program, I want to give a shortcut. So what you do is you press Alt F8, select the program to which you want to give a shortcut key, and click on Options. Okay, select the program and click on Options, and you can give the same shortcut that we saw earlier when we record the macro. So here I will give Shift and let us say D. Click on OK. Now, if I want to run the data entry program, I'll just press Ctrl Shift D, and it is going to run the program. Now here you don't have to press F8. Okay, you just press Enter. It will go to the next input box. F8 is only for running your program step by step. Now, let us say I want to enter 50 records. So should I run the program 50 times? That will be very time consuming, right? Today, suppose I want to enter 50 records. Tomorrow, I might have to enter say 100 records. So running the same macro 100 times will be very time consuming. So instead of that, we'll use something called as loops. So loops are used to repeat the same set of instructions again and again. Okay. So we'll take a short break now, and after the break, we'll see what are the types of loops that can be used in the program. Fine.
Sure. Yes.
So this is 12 o'clock. We'll again resume at 12:15. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Save
Thank
the
you.
file. We'll take a break. Is everyone back?
Yeah.
So before the break, we saw a program called as data entries, right? Now, let us say I want to enter, say 50 records. So instead of running the macro 50 times, what we can do is we can use something called as loops. So loops are mainly used to run the same set of instructions again and again for repetition of the same set of commands. Now in Visual Basic, there are mainly three types of loops. First is do, while, condition is true. Okay, do some programming statements and then loop. A slight variation of this is we can also write it as do some programming statement and check for the condition in the end, while loop while the condition is true. Okay. Then we have one more loop, that is for I equals, say, 1 to some value. For I equal to 1 to some value, do some programming statement, and then next time. We'll see all these loops in detail. I'll just write it down first. Then you have for each cell in selection, programming statement, and then next cell. Okay. Now, suppose you want to run the program at least once, then it is better to go for this particular loop. In the first case, it will enter into the loop only if the condition is true. For example, if I have some statement like a equal to 10, and then I can write the statement like this, do while a equals 10. So it will enter into this loop only when the value of a is equal to 10. Suppose the value of a is say 11, then this statement is not true. It is not satisfied. So it will not enter into the loop at all. So if you want to run the loop, run the program at least once, you can use the second one. So here it will check for the condition at the end. It will run the program once, then it will check whether the condition is true or not. Okay. So it depends on the logic, whether you want to check for a condition first and then enter into the loop, or whether you want to run the program once and then check for the condition in the end. Now here in this case, we are going to use the second one, do run the program once and check for the condition in the end. Okay. Now third one is, suppose every time I want to run the program for a definite number of times. Every time I need to enter 10 records. Okay, not longer than that or shorter than that. Every time I need to run 10 records. So instead of using a do while, I can write here for I equal to 1 to 10, do all the programming statements. And when I say next try, automatically the value of I will be incremented by 1. So the first time it runs, value of I will be 1. Then it will run the program because 1 is between 1 and 10. it will run the program. When I say next try, it becomes 2, then 3, like that. So the moment you say next try, it will increment the value of I by 1. When the value of I becomes 11, this condition is no longer satisfied. So it will come out of the loop automatically. Okay. The fourth one is for each cell in selection. Okay. Now suppose in this particular sheet, I selected some data and I want to do some formatting, or I want to change the values of this selection. Then I can use the loop called as for each cell in selection. So it will work only on this selection. So today my selection is this much. Tomorrow my selection might be this much. So according to my selection, the program will run. Okay. We see all this in detail. For the timing, just understand that the loops are mainly used to repeat the same set of instructions again and again. Fine. So here we'll use the second one. Do some program loop while the condition is true. First, to understand the logic, then you write it down. Now, where should the do come? Should I print the headers again and again? There is no need. The headers has to be printed only once, right? So I need to write a do here before I get the name from the user. Okay, so do emp name, emp post, department salary, and then save the file, save the values in the Excel sheet. And I'll check for the condition here. So before that, I'll define one more variable called as answer. And here I will write input box. Do you want to continue? Now, when should this program continue? When the user says yes. So here I will write, after I get the value from the user, I'll say loop while answer equals capital Y. So as long as the user enters Y, capital Y, it will again go to this particular statement. Again, ask for the username, department, post, salary. Again, it will come down. Once it has saved the files, again it will ask, do you want to continue? If the user says capital Y, again it will continue. But the user enters any other character other than capital Y, it will come out of the loop because that condition is not satisfied. We are saying that loop only if the value of answer equal to capital Y. Suppose the user enters small y, will it continue or will it come out? It will come out because here we are checking only for capital Y. So if I want to take into consideration even small y, I can write it like this, or ANS equals small y. Okay. So no matter what the user enters, capital Y or small y, it will continue. And any other character other than capital Y or small y will make the program come out. Okay. I'll just run it. Just watch on the screen. Control Shift D, I think, right? Name, then post, then department, then salary. Now when I press enter, it is going to ask, do you want to continue? If I say small y or capital Y, it will again ask for the name. Okay. Now if I say any character other than Y, it will come out. Okay. So as long as the user enters capital or small y, this is going to continue.
Instead of Y, if we click on OK, Will it continue?
No, it will come out because you need to give some value. This will.
We are giving input box. Okay.
Correct. We'll also see that suppose instead of entering Y or capital Y, if I want to use buttons for that, we'll see that also.
Okay.
First to try this. Because when you are giving an input box, you need to enter some value. Just add these two statements at the end and do here. Do before that input box statement. Now using the input box to get the answer from the user is one method. Or we can also use something called as message box. Okay. So for the time being, I will comment this. If you don't comment it, it is going to ask, do you want to continue? Do you want to continue 2 times? Okay. So here instead of input box, we'll use something called as message box. So here I will write loop while MSG box. Okay, like you have an input box, we also have something called as message box. The short is MSG box. Open the bracket and here I will write, do you want to continue? Now the moment I give a comma, you will get a drop down automatically like this. Now here you have many options here. VB default button 1. Likewise, if I scroll down, I'll get option called as VB yes no. Now this means it is going to display a dialog box which will have 2 buttons, yes and no. Fine. Now when should my program continue? When the user clicks on yes. So this means it will ask the question, do you want to continue? And when the user clicks on yes, it should again go back to getting the name and everything. I'll just run it again. So Control Shift D, it is asking for the name, post, department, salary. Now I'll see, you will get a dialog box like this. This is your message box. If I click on yes, again it will ask for the name. And if I click on no, it will come out of the program. Okay.
Sir, if we save the file and close the file and again we want to work tomorrow with the same thing, then again we have to do the same procedure, like we have to put F8, 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 and when we reach the...
No.
Okay.
See, F8 is only for running the program step by step.
Okay.
If your program is error free, then no need to press F8. Now see, I'm not pressing any F8 here. I'm just closing it. Now the shortcut for running my program is Control Shift D. I just press Control Shift D and the program will automatically print that as start. Okay, I'll remove everything. I will 1 minute. I'll make it blank. Okay, I'll make everything blank. Now Control Shift D, we see that automatically it has printed the headers. Then name, enter, post, enter, department, enter, salary, enter. Do you want to continue? Yes. Again, enter the name, enter the post, enter the department, enter the salary.
So what will happen to the previously entered data, sir, which we have entered previously, and we have to continue from there, right?
No, that I deleted on purpose, just to show you that the headers should be printed. Now suppose I close this. Okay, I close this. Now we have two records. Okay. I close this. Now tomorrow suppose I want to enter new records again. I'll again press Ctrl Shift D. Again, enter the name. Do you want to continue? No. So it will come here. Okay. So Alt the F8 is only for running the program step by step. If your program is error free, then you don't have to press F8. You can directly run it.
Yes, sir.
I'll copy and did I copy and paste it in the chat?
No, sir, not. Last one you have did.
Okay, fine. This is the final program.
Okay.
Just run it once you have written all the program. You can directly run it. No need to press F8.
So I'm getting compilation error.
On which statement?
Sub data entries.
Again, what is it saying? You don't have a do for a loop or missing do, something like that?
Do. Okay.
You should have a do. You should have a do. After you print the headers, there should be a do.
After that, something has not, the green one has not copied, I believe, in your sheet.
This I wrote afterwards. This one, answer equal to input box. There is a comment, even that is not copied.
Okay.
Copy where?
Can't execute code in break mode.
Sub copy where?
Yes, sir. What is it? You there, sir?
Working fine, everyone?
Yes, now we can hear.
Yes, working.
I think Abhishek, we are here. I think you got okay. What?
Sir, when you run the message box, is that showed yes or no? For me, it shows only yes button.
Hello.
Hello, Sujata
Am I
here,
audible?
sir. Yeah, you are audible.
Yes,
Am
sir.
I audible?
Yeah, Sujata.
Yeah, for the message box, did you get a yes or no 2 buttons? I am getting only yes button only.
प्रभास मेरी आवाज आ रही क्या?
So your voice is coming. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
Hello, am I audible? Saket, Komal, Sindhu.
Yes, yes,
Sujata.
yes, yes. Yes, yes, it is audible.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Abhishek, can you hear me?
Audible to you? Yes, sir. I'm audible to you, sir.
प्रभास मेरी आवाज आ रही है क्या?
Yes, Amar, it's very well audible.
But I'm not able to hear your voices.
We can hear you, sir.
I know that Saket is telling something, but I cannot hear his voice.
So mine, sir. Hello.
Even Abhishek,
Okay.
you are not audible.
Is Prabhas sir is also on call?
Yes, I am. I can hear your all people voice. So let me just check with Amar. Just give us a 2 minutes time, people. Just give
Sure,
us 2
sure.
minutes.
Yes. Sure, sir. Sure, sir. No worries.
I can't hear any of your voices.
Yes, Amar, able to hear? Your mic is on mute. You can check the mic.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, Amar.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
it's
I
audible?
can. Yeah, I can. Yeah,
Okay.
you are audible.
Sure.
Thank
Sure.
you. Yeah,
Good,
thank
buddy.
you. Yeah. So working fine for everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
For me.
Okay. 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 Fine. Fine. Now, last time we had seen how to assign the macro. I'll just share the screen. How to assign the macro to your button, as well as we saw how to assign the macro to your shortcut key, right? It is also possible to assign the macro on the quick access toolbar. Which is the quick access toolbar? On the top, you can see there is a floppy symbol, right? That is your quick access toolbar. So we can also assign a macro on that. It is also possible to create your own tabs. Like we have the tabs, home, insert, page layout, formulas. Likewise, we can also create our own tab also. So let us see how to do that. From the Visual Basic Editor, come back to the Excel sheet. Right click on any tab. It can be View, Review, Data. Right click and select Customize ribbon. Right click on any tab. You need to right click on that name of the tab. like you have developer, right click on that, select customize ribbon. When you click on customize ribbon, it will display a window like this. Okay. Now, if I want to assign the macro on the quick access toolbar, you can select this option on the left hand side, quick access toolbar, and then click on the drop down of popular commands and select macros. And you'll see the list of all the macros that you have either recorded or written. From here, you can select any macro and click on add. Okay, so it will go to that quick access toolbar. Suppose I want to create my own tab. You click on customize ribbon, come to the right hand side. You can select any location where you want the tab. So these are the customized tabs. So ideally the customized tabs should come in the end after the developer tab. So select the developer tab. And on the bottom, you have three options here: new tab, new group, rename. Okay, click on new tab. The moment I click on new tab, you see after the developer tab, you have something called as new tab custom, new group custom. So custom means we are creating this. This is not the original part of your Excel application. We are creating our customized tabs. So I want to rename this. So click on that new tab custom. Then click on rename. And you can give a name here. You can give any name. You can also give your own name also. So I'll give the name as Excel4all. Click on OK. And you'll see that the tab has been renamed. I want to rename this new group. So select new group, click on rename. We'll name it as forms. Click on OK. Now, I want to assign that macro that we have written, data entries, into the group called as forms. So make sure that forms is selected. Make sure forms is selected. And on the left hand side, click on the drop down of popular commands, macros. Now to assign the macro data entries. So select it and click on add. Okay, you have the add button and you'll see that the data entry program is inside that forms group. We can also change the icon of this. This is the default icon. You can see some hierarchy structure there. That is the default icon. You select it. If you want to change the icon, click on rename. And again, select any icon from here. Okay. And after this, if I click on OK, you'll see next to the developer tab, you have one more tab called as Excel4all, which we created. And then you have a group called as forms. And inside forms, we have that macro called as data entries. Now, suppose I want to run that program. I don't have to press Ctrl+Shift+D. There is a shortcut. I can just click on this data entries and the same program will run. Okay, the alternative method to run your macros. Okay, fine. Getting this? Clear, everyone?
Yes.
Now, we have seen a loop called as do while. The next loop is for I equal to 1 to 10, 1 to some value. It doesn't have to be always 10. Then we'll see for each cell in selection. Okay. Insert a blank sheet, Shift F11, or you can also click on that plus sign. Now what I want to do is I want to print numbers from 1 to 10. What the program should do is, when I run the macro, it should print 1 here in A1, then 2, 3, 4, up to 10. Okay? Just a simple program to print numbers from 1 to 10. We'll continue in the same module. So just go to the end. After that end sub, we'll name it as sub print numbers. Now the numbering should be from the first cell onwards. So first I need to go to that particular cell, that is A1. So A1 dot select. So that is our active cell. Okay. Now one method is I can write active cell dot value equal to 1. Then I can say active cell dot offset 1, 0 dot select. Then again write active cell dot value equal to 2. Okay, that is one method. But here I have to print only say 10 numbers. I can write 10 statements for that. But suppose tomorrow I want to print 100 numbers or maybe 500 numbers. So this becomes very time consuming. So what I'll do is I'll use a loop here. I know that I want to print numbers from 1 to 10. So I'll write for I equals 1 to 10. Okay. Then I'll write active cell dot value equals I. Then next I. So active cell is A1 now. When I say for I equal to 1 to 10, the value of I is 1. And when I write active cell dot value equal to I, it will print 1 there. When I write next I, it will automatically increment the value of I by 1. Whenever you have a if, you should have an end if. Whenever you have a do, you should have a loop. Whenever you have a for, you should have a next. Okay. So this will always work in pairs. If, end if, do, loop, for, next. Now if I run this, just watch on the screen. Suppose my cell is somewhere here. I press F8. It has gone to A1. And it will print 1. Okay. But when I run this continuously, we'll see that the values are not coming one below the other. So what should be the correction here? I want the next number on the next row. Okay. So after I print the numbers, I need to tell Excel, take my cell 1 row down. So how will I do that? By writing a offset statement. So active cell 1, 0 dot select. Because I want to physically move the cell, I'm writing dot select. Now if I run it, I can directly run it because I know that the program is error free. Okay, I'll copy and paste it in the chat.
So how to toggle F8 selection up and down?
Toggle.
Yes, sir. You're toggling between the lines, no? Yeah, that's
that means from the Excel sheet to the Visual Basic Editor.
No. From in this thing only, VBA editor only. In between the line, for example, next I active cell. So how the way we do tab, shift tab, the way that like that kind of.
I'm not toggling.
Okay. So
I see if you want to display the Excel sheet, means you want to display the Excel sheet as well as the Visual Basic Editor side by side, yeah?
No, sir. I know that. In the VBA editor only. When the yellow line comes, when you click on it, when you put F8, yellow line comes, you take it
Correct.
down. Okay, you just scroll it down. Then you have to scroll up also. So how to scroll up? It is not coming up.
This one. See.
Yeah.
Can you see this arrow mark here?
Yes.
You can just drag it down like this anywhere.
Okay. Okay. And
so
and
now if I run F8, it will start from here.
Okay. Okay. Got it, sir. Got it. Sir.
Now suppose I want to print. Okay, I'll copy and paste it in the chat box first. Now this will always print numbers from 1 to 10, right? But suppose I want to print say 100 numbers, then what will be the change? Instead of I equal to 1 to 10, you make it I equal to 1 to 100, right? Correct? Now,
yes.
But suppose I want to print numbers according to the value that is given by the user. Suppose the user says 500, it should print 500 numbers. If the user says 250, it should print 250 numbers. So I want you to make changes to the program so that it prints only that many numbers given by the user. Okay, make the changes to the program so that the macro prints only that many numbers given by the user. So how will you do this? First, you need to get the values from the user. How will you get the values from the user?
Input box.
Perfect. Very good. So I'll define some variable. PRN NOS. So that is a variable name. It can be anything. And I'll use a input box here. Input box. How many numbers you want to print? What do you give inside these codes? That can be anything. Okay. It doesn't make any difference to the program. So how many numbers you want to print? Now, what are the input is given by the user that will be stored in the variable called as PR and NOS. Now, instead of 1 equal to 1 to 10, it will be PR and NOS. Okay. So if the user says 100, this PR and NOS will contain the value 100. Fine. So let us run this. We're asking for the numbers. If I say 100, press enter, it should print values up to 100. Now suppose the next time I run it, suppose I give the value say 50. So what happens to the values from 51 onwards? Will it remain on the screen or will it be erased? It will remain on the screen because the previous values will not be automatically erased. So if I want to automatically erase the data before I run the new program, what is the command? Cells.clear. Okay, so first I'm clearing the data, then I'm getting the value from the user, then I'm printing it. So now if I run it, it will clear the previous data first. Then whatever value I write, So this is to erase all the data in your sheet.
In case if you want to resume from where we have left,
then you can do the same logic that we used earlier. You go down, then come up, then print from here.
okay.
That can be done. Okay, now we'll see the third loop, that is for each cell in selection. Now here, okay, in Word, in Microsoft Word, suppose I have typed a paragraph in say lowercase. Can I convert that into uppercase in Word? That can be done. We have a keyboard shortcut Shift F3, or you can go to change case and convert that into capital case, right? Do you have a similar option in Excel? Can I convert all these first names to capital case, to uppercase?
Yes, we have function uppercase.
Correct. We have a function called as upper. But can I use the upper function in the same column, that is B? Can I use the upper function in the same cell? Can I say equal to upper B2 in B2 itself?
No, we have
You
to
can't. Use it in a different column and then
yes,
copy and paste it, right?
Yes, yes.
You can't use it in the same cell because it will give a circular reference error. Okay.
Yes.
So what you normally need to do is you write it in a different column and then select it, then copy and paste it here. So that can be very time consuming. So instead of that, we'll use a macro for that. So for this, we are going to use a loop called as for each cell in selection. Okay. Now we are going to write this in a new module. So you go to insert, module. We'll rename it as change case. Change underscore case. Then subroutine name will be sub. We'll name it as uppercase. Or you can also name it as capitals. Here I will use for each cell in selection. That means whatever I am selecting in that selected part, what I should do is it should take the value that is in the cell and then convert that into capitals. For converting that into capitals, in Visual Basic, we have a function called as uCase. Like you have many functions in Excel, we also have functions in Visual Basic also. So whenever you have a for, you should have a next. Now, this cell that I have written, that is again a variable. Okay. Instead of cell, I can also write ABC. It won't make any difference. So in this case, if I write it as ABC, then I need to make it like this: ABC dot value equal to ABC, and it will be ABC again. Okay. So this is a variable. Cell is a variable. Active cell is a reserved word. That is a programming statement, but cell is a variable. So what this will do is for each ABC in selection. Now, for example, if I select this much area, okay, this is my selection because I need to select it first. I have written for each ABC in selection, so I need to select it first. So which is the first ABC? The first ABC is Alok. Okay. Second ABC is Trivedi. Third ABC is admin. So when I run this, you will see that all OK is getting capitalized. Next, when I say next ABC, it will select that cell called as Trivedi, and that will be capitalized. Again, next ABC will be admin. Okay, so always your selection will be from left to right. Then it will go on converting it like this. Okay, I can directly run it. So all the values in that selection will be converted to capital case. How will you convert that into lowercase? Instead of U case, we have a function called as L case. So you don't have to write the program again, just copy and paste it, Control C, Control V, and we'll name this as lowercase. You can't have two subroutines with the same name, but the variable name can be same because you're using it in different modules, different subroutines. So the variable name can be same. Now we also have a case called as proper case. Proper case means the first letter will be capitalized. But in Visual Basic, you don't have a function called as P case. Okay, but we have a function called as proper in Excel. So I can also call that function into Visual Basic. I can call any Excel function into Visual Basic. Fine. So for that, the statement will be a little bit different. I'll write it as proper case. And the statement will be, you need to write application dot worksheet function. Using the statement worksheet function, I can call any Excel function into Visual Basic. I can also call the VLOOKUP function also. So application dot worksheet function dot proper. Okay, so all these Excel functions that will be displayed in the window like this. So we need a function called as proper. Then cell dot value. One more example is we don't have a function called as sum in Visual Basic, but you have the sum function in Excel. So if I want to sum anything, let us the sales total or something, then I need to call the sum function from Excel into Visual Basic. Okay. So we have written the program for uppercase, lowercase, and proper case. So if I select it, run the lowercase, everything will be converted to, okay, sorry. Everything will be converted to lowercase. And the second one, the third one in fact, proper case will convert the first letter to capital case. Okay, now I want all of you to create one more group. The tab that you have created, create one more group called as change case. And in that, I want to all of you to put those macros, uppercase, lowercase, and proper case. Can you do that? Create one more group called as change case and assign the macros inside that. Don't create one more tab. We already have a tab called as Excel4all. In that, create one group called as change case and assign the macros inside that. Just click on new group. You can rename it as change case. Then make sure that change case group is selected. Click on drop down of popular commands, macros, select lowercase, click on add uppercase, and then proper case. You can also change the icons. Click on rename. Now if I select any data, if I click on this, lowercase, capital case, proper case. Even your alt will work here. Suppose you want to use the keyboard shortcut, then you need to press alt. We see that Excel4all is given that keyboard shortcut Y1. So Y1 will take you into Excel4all. Y2 for converting this to lowercase. Y3 Y3 capitals. Working fine, everyone? Select the filter sheet. Now, last time, I think there was a query. If I want all the departments starting with A, then can I display that? For example, let us say you have admin records here, right? Then I'll make some changes here. Say this, I'll make it accounts. Again, one more accounts. So I have two records of accounts here. So if I filter it, I want all the departments which is starting with A. Okay, so if you are doing an auto filter, you can simply select department, text begins with A. Okay, that will give me all the records where the department starts with A. But how will you do it in an advanced filter? What you need to do is you need to write the single quote equals A star. So this is similar to all text beginning with A. Okay, if I don't give a single quote, Excel will think that when I say equal to A star, you are writing a function. Because there is no function called as A star, it will give an error. Okay. Now I select this and click on the button. It will show me all the records starting with A. Likewise, if I want to display only those branches where it is made up of, let us say, 4 letters. Now see here. I want to display only those branches which is made up of 4 characters. So how will you do it in auto filter? You go to click on the drop down of branch, text filters equals, and you specify 4 times question mark. Okay, so this will give me all the records where the branch is made up of 4 characters. The same thing, if I want to do it using normal filter, using our advanced filters, then we need to write it as single quote equals 4 times question mark. Okay. Question mark stands for a single character. You can see 10 records. Is this clear, everyone? Just give a single quote equal to sign and the condition that you want to give.
But you didn't go to that advanced search and then criteria range and all not given. Still it's working.
Because if you remember last time we had recorded a macro for doing advanced filters, and that macro is assigned to this particular button.
Okay.
Right. See, this is the, I think, macro for that. Reports. You'll directly go to. Okay, how will you directly go to that particular macro? Alt F8, advanced filters, click on edit. So this is the macro for that. Last time we had recorded this.
Okay. And I asked for the count of the records that we are displaying for the advanced filter.
See, one method is you can use a count function, countif function, or you can also use a macro for that. If you want to use a macro, then we can call the function of count in Excel. Fine.
Okay.
So if you want it, I'll write it here. Then we'll put it in a message box if you want. Record count is a variable equals application dot worksheet function dot count. We'll use count A because it can have text also, and the range you can take any range. I'll take the range of, let us say, D. I will take it from D11. Okay. D11 to, let us say, D500. Okay. So this will count it and store it in a variable called as record count. Now, if I want to display it, I can either display it in a cell, or I can also use a message box for that. I'll say message box. The total count is. How do you concatenate in a program? Use the and symbol. Correct. Ampersand. Correct. And the variable name, that is record count. Okay. Now first I need to select it. Click on this. It says
101.
It should give me 21. D11. No, not D11. It should be. Yeah, anything should be given. E11 to okay, when you say count A, it is taking the value that is in the hidden rows also. Right.
Okay.
So instead of count A, I'll use a subtotal function here. Instead of count A, we can use that. So we can use a function called as subtotal 3. Subtotal 3. Okay.
Okay.
So I use that. Range from, we can take any range, 11 to I should take from E12 because it is counting the header also, right? Okay.
Okay.
Now suppose I make it admin. Count is 9.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. If you want, I will copy and paste it in the chat. Now, I want all of you to write a program, okay? A subroutine, not a function, a subroutine for calculating the HRA, TA, and the gross for all the employees. Okay, I'll give you the percentages. HRA will be 40% of basic salary. TA will be 20%. And your gross will be salary plus HRA plus TA. So what the program should do is, you should calculate the HRA for the first employee, then the TA, then the gross, then till the end of this database. Okay, you should calculate all the the HRATA gross for all the employees. Can you try? I want you to write a subroutine, not a function, nor a formula. I can easily do it by typing equal to H12 into 40% will give me the HRA. But I want you to do it using the program.
So am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Everyone understood what is to be done? Write a subroutine which will calculate the HRATA gross for all the employees. If you want, I will give you the logic. You can use any logic. Okay. See, my logic is I'll select the cell, the first salary cell, that is H12. In my case, it is H12. So if this is the active cell, okay, H12 is the active cell, then HRA will be active cell dot offset 0,1. TA will be active cell dot offset 0,2. Gross will be active cell dot offset 0,3. So here I can write for calculating the HRA, I can write active cell dot offset 0,1 dot value equals 40% of active cell. So that will give me the HRA value. Likewise, active cell dot offset 0,2 dot value will be 20% of active cell, and gross will be just summation of all these three values. So you got the HRATA gross for the first employee. Now I know that there are 100 employees here. So I can put it in a loop. So I can write for I equal to 1 to 100, do the calculation again and again. That is one logic. Or instead of using for I equal to 1 to 100, I can also use do while. Do while active cell is non-blank. As long as the active cell is non-blank, go on doing the calculation. You can use any either loop for I equal to 1 to 100 or do while. Even selection will work. But first we need to select the entire range and then you said do while in selection. You can also define variables and then write the program. Even that will work. Are you doing it, everyone?
We are trying.
First, I'm defining some variables. So I'll define HRA as long, then dim TA as long again. We are also going to define gross long, and then we need one more variable, that is salary. Dim salary as long. Okay. Now first I need to select that cell from where my salary starts. So in my case, it is in H12. Okay, it might be different in your case. So in my case, it is from H12. So I'll write range H12 dot select. So that becomes the active cell. Okay. Now one method is I can write active cell dot offset if H12 is the active cell, then I12 will be active cell offset 0, 1. So one method is I can write active cell dot offset 0, 1 dot value equals 40 by 100. You can't write percent, that percent symbol. Either you can make it 0.4 or 40 by 100 into active cell dot value. Okay, this is absolutely right. Okay, nothing wrong in this. But here I have already defined HRA as long. Okay, so instead of this particular statement, what I'll write is I'll say salary equals active cell dot value. That means whatever values in active cell, that should be stored in a variable called as salary. So I got the salary value. Now for calculating HRA, I'll write HRA equals this, just to make the program more compact and understandable. We can also write active cell dot offset 0, 1 dot value. It won't make any difference. So 0.4 into salary. This will give me the HRA. TA will be 0.2 multiplied by salary again. Then gross will be salary plus HRA plus TA. Okay. So we have done the calculations. Now I need to put the calculated values in the respective cells. So here I will write active cell dot offset 0, 1 dot value equals HR. Okay, we have just done the calculations. Now those calculated values should be put in the cell. Likewise, TA will be 02, gross will be, I think, 03. So this will be 02 and 02 will be TA. 3 will be gross. Okay. Now first before I put it in a loop, I'll just run it step by step. If it is calculating the values correctly for the first record, then it should calculate for the rest of the records also. So F8. It has selected the cell H12. Okay. So it has calculated without any error. Now I just need to put it in a loop. So here I know that the records are 100 records. So what I'll do is I'll write for I equals 1 to 100. Okay. Then whenever you have a for, you should have a next I. Okay. Now I need to physically move the cell from H12 to H13. So I need to use a active cell here again. Active cell dot offset 1, 0 dot select. Okay. Again, I'll run the program step by step. I'll remove this first. F8. Now when I say active cell dot offset 1, 0, it will move from H12 to H13. Okay. Then again do the calculations. Again move down. Then do the calculations. Now if I directly run it, it should go up to the end. Now the advantage here is that once you do the calculations in the program, if I go to that particular cell on the formula bar, you will not see the formula that was used for doing the calculations. It is just like you have pasted it as values. Okay, that is the advantage here. First, to go through the program, if any statement is not understood, you can always ask me.
So for me, only one record is showing. For loop is for next is not working. Let me share my screen.
Did you put this particular statement, active cell offset 1, 0? Just check that.
I'll show it. And this is the thing. I just followed you and everything I rechecked.
No, you have missed that particular statement. Active cell dot offset.
Okay.
1, 0 dot select. After that 03.
Okay.
Enter. Active cell dot offset. First we have done the calculation for the first record. We need to come down one row down. So 1, 0 dot select. Fine. Now you run. Now you can directly run it. But remove the filters first. You have filters applied on the database. Go to view. No. On the main database. Go to data.
Here. Main data.
Data tab. Go to the data tab. Now the filters has been removed. No, it is still there. Go to the main data tab. Click on clear. Clear. Okay. Now you do the calculations. Now you can directly run it. Go back to your code. Click on. Perfect. Just check.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Now see here. When you filter the records using your normal filters, you know that your filter has been applied. Okay. But suppose somebody has done your advanced filter and send the file to you, because you can see the filter buttons. Suppose I apply a filter, you can see the filters buttons here on the header. So that tells me that a filter has been applied, right? But suppose a person has done your advanced filters and he has sent the sheet to you. How will you know whether a filter has been applied or not? Because like in your normal filters, there will be no drop downs when you do your advanced filter. So how will you know whether your database has been filtered or not if your advanced filter has been done? There are multiple methods. One method is look at the row numbers. If the database has been filtered, the row numbers will not be in a sequence. After 12, it might be 25, then 40, then 55, something like that. That is one method. But suppose you have sorted the database, and if you are going to filter the admin records using the advanced filters, then the record numbers will be in a sequence. So the better method is look at the color of the row numbers. If the color of the row numbers are blue, that means a filter has been applied. For example, if I select it, okay, look at the row numbers. The row numbers are blue in color. That means a filter has been applied. That is one method. Or if you go to data, you'll see that the clear option is activated. The clear option will be activated only if the database has been filtered. If it is displaying all the records, then the row numbers will be again black in color. Black is the default color. And even this clear will be deactivated. That means no filter has been applied. Okay. So today we have seen range statements, data entries, loops, right? Now, your homework will be one thing is that now we have done the same program using for I equal to 1 to 100. So tomorrow, suppose the number of records becomes 200, then again I need to go to the program and make it 1 to 200, right? So that is one limitation here. So what I want you to do is, I want you to rewrite the program so that instead of using for I equal to 1 to 100, it will use a do while loop. Okay, you don't have to write the entire program again. Just copy and paste it, and instead of for I equal to 1 to 100, you make it using do while. Okay, what is the condition that is to be given? That you need to think about that. What will be the condition? That is one thing. Second thing is, where all the value of the gross wherever the value of gross is, let us say, more than, okay, more than 30,000. Okay, wherever the value of gross is more than 30,000, it should be colored in a red color using VBA. Okay. Any value of the gross which is more than 30,000 should be, the font color should be red. Okay, not the fill color. Should give me something like this. Wherever it is more than 30, it should be in a red color. Getting this, everyone? I'll write it in the chat.
Yes, sir.
So
Write the program.
Copy the code as well. Somehow my
Okay, yeah, I will do that. The homework will be rewrite the code by using do while. Do while loop. Okay. Then highlight values, gross values more than 30,000 in a red font color. Okay. So we have completed this and today's topics. Okay. So any doubts, any difficulties in the topic that we have covered?
We need to work. We need
Yeah,
to do
of
that
course.
homework.
Practice is
And
a
then
must.
only we will believe. As far as you explain, it seems to be easy and
correct. What you should do is, in the start itself, now you must be having many tasks that you want to automate. So take a small task, okay, and try automating it. Once it works without any errors, go on adding features to that. In the start itself, don't try to write a big program, because when you try to write a big program, the logic becomes it can be difficult. So take a small program, take a small task, you automate that, then you go on adding features to that. That way, in a short span of time, you can really build a very complicated and big program.
Sir, I would like to ask
Sure,
just
sir.
a question.
Pardon?
Like, I just would like to ask you a very generic question, because when I was practicing, when we give some sort of, this user-defined function subroutine, then when I was giving something subroutine, say my own user-defined function, then it was showing some sort of error and getting yellow highlighted. So what should we keep in mind while writing, starting from sub? And also, if in the same worksheet, if there is already any code written, and when I'm trying to put it, it was showing that it can't be
Run in a break mode.
Break mode, or it's because sub end is already there, so that line was not getting separated. So that's what I understood, that why it was happening, but how to deal with it was not sure.
See, first thing is there are some rules that apply for macro names as well as for function names. One basic rule is that macro names should not be repeated. Now I already have a subroutine called as calc. I can't have one more subroutine called as calc. It should be unique throughout the entire workbook. Okay, so no names, no two subroutine names should be repeated. It should be unique. Then subroutine names should not be a function name. It should not have a space. Now suppose I give it like this, subcalc method. It is going to generate error because you can't have a space, but you can have a underscore. Third thing is your subroutine name should not begin with a numerical value. Okay, I can't have something like sub then 21 calc. That will not work. But you can have 21 somewhere in between or at the end, but should not be beginning with a numerical value. Likewise, suppose you are written a function and let us say this is our function, tax-wala function. Suppose this name, that is ind tax. Okay, so that is a function name. But here, suppose I write it as id tax, ind tax without an underscore. This is going to generate error. Now, if I try to run this, you will see that suppose I have some value here equal to ind tax. It is calculating because I think the conditions are satisfied in the third case. Okay, even this I will make it. It will give me 0. Sometimes if the syntax is wrong, that particular portion will be highlighted. So if I say, if I remove this, then it will highlight this particular statement. So when it is getting highlighted, the simple thing is that you correct that error and click on this reset button. Okay, then that highlight will go away. If you have a highlight, that means there is something wrong with the syntax or the not logic. Something is wrong. You must have written active cell as active CELLL. So that is a spelling mistake. So there it will capture it. But if you have a logical error, that will not be captured by the program. Just remember that. You have two types of errors when you are writing a program. One is syntax error and the second is logical error. Syntax error can be caught by your compiler, but if I have a logical error, that cannot be caught. So if I write here, or if this is in a break mode, if it is in a F8. Now if it is in a debug mode, now if I try to run that particular program, it will say can't execute code in a break mode. Okay. So in that case, what you need to do is you just click on this reset button 2-3 times, and that highlight will go away. Then you can directly run it. Okay.
Yeah.
Clear?
Okay.
Huh. So how are you all finding the training? You think that this can be used in your daily work? You can automate your tasks.
Yes, it's giving confidence to start automate the works. Once we start to do and come across facing the difficulties only, we will come to know where we are, and we will come again to you.
Only thing is that even if it is a small program or a very big program, always run it step by step. Okay. And once you are clear with the errors, you can directly then run it.
Yes, sir.
So can we end the session then?
Yes, sir.
If there
Sure,
are
sir.
no queries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.